Welcome back to the Light Renegades. My name is Starr. Thank you so much for joining me today, everyone. Today's message is a message being brought forward from Alistair, I've been corrected, Crowley, not Crowley, Alistair Crowley, who wants to be called a crow. For those that might be new, I was channeling Alistair before Christmas time. He said that he was going to be going for a little break. I wasn't entirely sure what was happening, but I now understand. Having him back in my energy field, he feels incredibly lighter, and I'm grateful for that. I feel like I was hesitant to be bringing more information forward from him because I know it very much splits the crowd at this point. And I feel like I have a lot to share about that, everyone. And I feel like you have to step forward in these spaces knowing that you can wield your own light and asking for all teams of light to be with you in that space. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing out there right now. It's about how you are engaging with the energies of this world, these worlds, and how you can bring that into the light for yourself. I think we need to take religion and doctrine out of where we find ourselves right now, moving forward just for a little while with regards to these spaces, because we're truly traversing, spaces that we haven't been in yet with regards to energy, and it's all about how we function in that space as opposed to what has come from the past. Crow is stepping forward with his understandings, allowing for us to understand that he was compromised somewhere in his teachings, but also there is a wealth of knowledge that has been brought forward from him, from others that he was surrounded by, and we can use those energies in our spaces, in our times right now, because they are powerful. There is just this blanket of evil and darkness that I think has been placed over, magic and alchemy, because it was just far too powerful in the spaces of the past, and it was too powerful for us because we were going to set ourselves free sooner than these negative reptilian beings wanted us to. So where we find ourselves right now is that we are working through the past, letting go of the darkness of the past and bringing all of the alchemy and magic into the light. So please have that in mind when you're stepping into these spaces. We are doing this for our highest light and our highest vibration. I can assure you of that. And if you question this space, don't continue to watch. You do not have to be here. This is going to be entirely up to you, because I will share with you that it does come with a cost and a price, everyone. I would be lying to you if I did not share that with you, and that is something that I've experienced with regards to stepping into spaces that have been in considerably in shadow magic at some point. So just be warned of that. And I have to say that because I know that there's going to be some souls here that have perhaps a similar path to mine, where I found myself in my journey. If you want to, look at my life, there is a channeling. I will add that in the description about me and my 3D life and where I find myself. And, I can see the pockets of understanding where what a crow shares in this message was happening to me in my life. And I'm going to share a little bit about that at the end of this. I channeled this message a couple of days ago. And a lot happened in the couple of days leading up to filming this, everyone. And I was definitely put in a space of being pushed, being tested somewhere by many beings. And over the past couple of weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, I took a little bit of time to integrate myself and my energy. But in that time, I was shown the spaces of what I'm protected from. And sometimes I will close my eyes and I can just see beings clamoring to try and get to me, to try and, end where I find myself right now, because they don't want me to be bringing this information forward. And somewhere I wasn't truly understanding that on this path, and time again I was coming up against what felt like my own energy, what felt like me, not being able to literally feel like not being able to get out of bed in the morning, literally not feeling like I could string a sentence together or feel like I had the strength to be in this space with all of you. And this was other beings trying to prevent me from bringing this information forward because it is just so helpful. And teams of light, left me in those spaces that I could fight that energy so that I could then be stronger. So this is why there has been an up and down pattern with regards to me and, my energy this whole time, everyone, because somewhere I keep just reaching the peak of understanding. And, there are beings behind the scenes that do not want me to be bringing this information forward because it is going to be of such great wealth to us, I promise you. So I'm excited to bring these messages forward. I'm apprehensive to bring these messages forward, but I know that no matter what happens, it's all going to be working out for our highest good and our highest timelines, everyone. So please have that in mind. If you don't feel safe in these spaces, make sure that you are upping your protection. Make sure you are calling in the angels, calling in all of your teams of light. But I promise you, if you are experiencing anything of a darker nature somewhere in your journey, it is so that you can gain more strength. And this is something that I've kind of been missing on this path because, I didn't delve into into dark magic at all. It was very much told to me at the beginning of this journey that I wasn't going to be looking at that because it just wasn't time. And what I'm starting to understand about myself too is that teams of light cannot give me too much information, because it will be information comes forward, and there are some beings out there that still don't want this information to be coming out. So teams of light have to be careful with regards to how much they share with me and in what space of time, because beings try and prevent that course of action. And this isn't just happening to myself. I've been in situations where people have been prevented from seeing me, from reaching me, and things just happen in such a synchronistic way that I can't ignore it anymore. And there is roadblocks along the way every single day. Every time I try and bring out anything of light, I promise you something happens behind the scenes where it just makes it ever increasingly difficult for me to bring it forward. And I've been having to fight for this. I've been having to fight for this space. I've been having to fight for this truth to come forward. So I'm in more awareness of this now, of what it's going to take for me to be bringing this information forward. So please be aware of that, everyone. If you ever feel like you're in a space of that I don't understand what is happening, please do reach out to us, because we can help you. But also know that you are here to be gaining more strength and more power within your own sovereignty. So if you're facing anything that feels challenging to you, it's so that you can break through it and set yourself free. So please have that in mind as well, everyone. But I'm going to read this channeling for you now. It was titled Your Divine Light, and Crow started with, feeling so great to be back with you all again. I know my presence here is difficult for some. Take your time, no need to rush. I'm not going anywhere. I know this layer of existence difficult to understand for so many. These realms seem so far away and out of reach and out of your power. They are not. You're the most powerful beings in existence right now. Why do you think they want to keep you stuck? It is you. It has always been about you. And when Crow brings forward why they want to keep us stuck, he's referring to the negative reptilian order. And if you have no idea what I'm speaking about, I would suggest you go and do your own research with regards to all of that, because there is such a bank of understanding out there. I think it's going to be important for you to be searching for the information that is going to be of the most coexisting vibration for you. And this is something that Crow goes on to explain in a moment. And I feel like this is a bit of understanding that I was having to come to in a very roundabout way. So I'm grateful to give you all this understanding now, because I think that it's going to help you move more freely within your spaces as well. But Crow continued, today, I wish to be speaking about symbolism and how it can help you. Throughout my life, I taught so many of their own power and strength, yet somewhere I was still using others to gain more power for myself. With these messages, I wish to redeem myself, my sovereignty, and give you all a little bit of what I know to be true. Not all my teachings are dark or have been corrupted. Some of what I share with the world is of benefit to you now. So yes, I was corrupted, I was compromised, but some of what I share can still be of wealth to you now. So I continue. Symbols and why they are important. Shapes go back to the beginning of all time and understanding. You yourself are made up of atoms that comprise your entire vessel. So imagine yourself made up of tiny little shapes. Adding light to these shapes, learning how to guide these shapes into a higher understanding allows for more freedom in all spaces, in all time. Me being here will not be an in-depth discussion, rather a platform for you to then go on and do your own research. I will explain why this is so crucial. For millennia, beings have looked to others for guidance, and this, of course, helpful. But where each of you find yourselves now, you yourselves are your guiding light. You must turn within and understand yourself in order to expand and reach your highest heights. So here with me, I will give you a glimpse of what I discovered and then encourage you to seek what best suits your wave and vibration, your layer of understanding. Each soul is so inherently different, and you all come with your own skill set and knowledge. This is how you will move forward, trusting what you know and where you are guided from within. But I digress. Back to the matter at hand. Symbolism. My teachings have been warped along the way, my way of teaching warped from the get-go, yet magic is real and true. Magic in itself is not evil, it is simply cause and effect. It is simply allowing for energy to step forward and be felt. It is up to you how you wield your power and light, however, be warned. This comes with its own set of challenges. You must remain gracious. You must remain open to collaboration. I was not, I was naive and in pain. This allowed for darker forces to control me. I thought I was in control. I was not. I was everything the darker energies needed me to be. I was blinded by lust, rage, the idea of obtaining it all. Somewhere they used my weaknesses against me, my urges, my lack of discipline to myself, and truly loving myself. I know so many here will not want to hear this in the coming years. So many have hung on my every word and thought I knew something more than they, but in reality, I was still confused somewhere. I was still lost, yet I was willing to put anyone and anything at risk to obtain it all. This not my soul's energy, but the pain allowed for these notions to take hold. So be warned, what are your wounds? Be honest with yourself, brutally honest, for this will be the crux of your challenge. To wield the power of the energies within these realms, you must be willing to say, I'm not perfect, I have shadow, I accept whom I am, darkness and light, yet I'm willing to allow others to help me anchor in my light. I was a martyr. This did not work out for me. Yet the angels always there for me. They are the true beings that helped keep me in the light somewhere. My soul is not fully free. I'm paying penance somewhere else for my sins, but this part of me here wants nothing more than to help you all move forward through your path towards the light. So today's homework, research symbols, any symbols you are drawn to. These are going to be your cheat codes. They are personal to your path and journey. Create a document, a sheet of symbols that feel aligned with your energies in the here and now. Study them, what they mean, and let them simmer into your understanding. We are creating a portfolio for you to use moving forward within your expanse. This will not be a running and leaping expanse, but steady and virtuous to the light, leaving room for you to explore at your own pace. For some, you may not access the homework this week. It may be in a few months' time, weeks' time, years' time. That is okay. Trust your process and where you are in your journey. You are infinite love and light. Hold this within mind when you move towards a life lighter in heart and full of truth. I regret that I was not full of truth, yet I'm grateful to be here now, speaking my truth along the way. Through you, I'm able to share what my soul deep down always wanted. Collaboration and unity with those eager to explore more. I can breathe a sigh of relief knowing I am truly fulfilling my soul's mission. I am Alistair Crowley, but please do just call me Crow. And I feel like moving forward, these channelings are going to feel of light, everyone. They are going to sound so simple, yet they are giving us everything. This idea of bringing forward symbols that are going to help you move forward in your spaces of light is very much an integral practice moving forward, I think, everyone. And there is so many layers to what is wanting to be brought forward that I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to bring it all forward yet, but these are stepping stones and allowing us to find our true soul's origins and what is capable for us to move then into everyone. And the understanding that Crow is being brought forward in this channeling is that, you know, he was compromised somewhere. His pain and his greed allowed for him to be compromised by the energies that he thought that he was in control of. So we are making sure that we are doing everything to know our own weaknesses and seek out that that can help us work through that in the here and now. And a lot of the energies that I've been understanding, at least within my own personal journey, some of you have witnessed me in this space, you know, grow in this space and time. I've been having to take time off and come back, you know, take a second and come back, because I was truly having to understand my own shadow and how I was influencing my own life. And, you know, most of you here already will understand all of that, but to those that might be new to these realms, you know, we are in control of what happens to us for the most proportion of our life. It comes down to what we are thinking about ourselves, what we are saying about ourselves and our life, and you know, that then it changes the energy around what is happening around us, and then that allows for us to be stepping into timelines that are going to be for our highest benefit and understanding. But that being said, please remember that, you know, Earth is a school. We come here to understand ourselves and our soul deeper. So know that if you are if you are guided towards setbacks, that is so that you can break free from those molds and set yourself free. So please don't be alarmed in where you might find yourself right now in your journey. If you feel like, I don't have much of anything together, that's okay. If you feel like I'm only just starting to understand what it means to be, of light, I'm only just starting to understand what it means to be sat in my shadow and my darkness, that is okay. You're in prime time to allow for yourself to just be willing to understand more. And I think the main thing that might trap any stepping forward right now is, one, fearing darkness and shadow, and two, believing that you don't deserve to be happy and in light somewhere. And something that I feel like is ever stepping forward in these spaces that, darkness, shadow, whatever you want to call it, is that somewhere a lot of beings engaging in darker practices feel like they don't truly deserve to be in the light somewhere. And that has to be looked at, because that is a wound that can keep you trapped in that space. And, without darkness, there would be no light. And without light, there would be no darkness. So the pendulum swings both ways. So wherever you find yourself in the journey is okay, but make sure that you are trying to balance your light and your dark aspects at all times. You can sink into the darkness for a time. That is okay. You'll be brought back into the light, and back into the light, you might sink into a little bit of shadow, a little bit of darkness, but just not to the depths that you once went. And that is okay. We are trying to bring everything back towards the light. But what I wanted to share was that, I was very much tested, everyone. As soon as I was told that Crow wanted to step forward with us again, after his little bit of a hiatus to heal, I imagine, I was tested in all manner of ways. And it wasn't until being on the other side of that I thought, this was really just to make sure that, I'm not corrupted somewhere, and to allow for myself to see that I'm not. And I think this has been something that has, been an undercurrent of a fear of mine, I think perhaps to many people around me as well, is that, am I corrupted somewhere by a darker force that is guiding me to look into these darker spaces? And, I've had to question myself in that. I keep questioning myself in that. And I think that is important. But what I understand is that we have to know this darkness to be able to move forward. And a lot of A Crow's teachings are out in the mass media right now. So I think what is going to happen later down the line is that we are allowing these messages to come forward to allow us to combat the world that we find ourselves in right now, everyone. So please go lightly with these messages, these channelings moving forward, but understand they are being brought forward so that you can truly set yourself free. And I know that so many of you in the here and now probably have a lot of questions. I would say hold off just for a few more channelings time, because I think we are going to rapidly pick up pace. But where we find ourselves right now, we're having to tread quite lightly, because you are having to decide exactly where you are in your path and in your journey, and how much you want to be stepping in this path right now, engaging in, true alchemy. And I'm going to just call it magic moving forward, everyone. And I mean that in the highest of vibration. And, I'm working backwards with regards to learning a little bit more about darker practices and understanding, aspects of that can be helpful for us in the light, but not holding on to the energies of the past. What I'm starting to understand is that, those that have come before us, they were compromised in some way. We are going to be bringing in the teachings of them to some degree, not everything, because we are bringing it into our own selves, and then we are sharing that within our own vicinity and in our own life. And that's the thing that Crow brings forward in this message, is that we are often seeking outsourced information from others to gain our full knowledge and understanding. Crow is going to bring forward information that you can then go on and do your own research and tailor it to you and your life and your understanding, because that's going to help you catapult forward. We are out of the time of, looking at people as gurus of, pillars of light that have something outside of ourselves, because it's not true. We are all inherently powerful as we find ourselves right now, whether you consider yourself to be a starseed, hybrid, human hybrid, whatever you look like right now, wherever you find yourself, you are worthy and you deserve to feel light and magical. So these spaces are collaborative. These spaces are going to be I think pushing us and pushing our boundaries, everyone, with regards to shadow and light and what that means, what that personally means to you. I'm still having to break down layers and layers and layers of understanding that I was, indoctrinated into within my Catholic upbringing. Somewhere I went to Catholic schooling, and that was keeping me stuck from being able to fully dive into this dark understanding that I needed to bring it back into the light. So know that I've been battling myself, battling my own demons, and the demons of others somewhere. And I was given all of Crow's life again, just flashing before me, energies flashing before me. I just thought, it is absolute chaos. Like, my heart just completely sank for him. And this is what it feels like to be in true darkness somewhere, it's chaos, it's manic, it feels like there is an all-consuming pressure surrounding that. But through that pressure, you alchemize and break free into something lighter and into more light. So know that if things start to feel condensing for you, it's so that you can break free from it. And this was a cycle that I was repeating. I was almost trying to I didn't fully know what was happening at the time, but I was just trying to pull myself out of spaces that didn't feel comfortable, instead of sitting in my pain. And this manifested in a whole manner of ways throughout my life. But what I've come to understand on this path is that you just have to feel into what is happening. And I'm not necessarily speaking about darker energies, darker forces at this time. I'm talking about darker emotions, and these two things go hand in hand. What I'm starting to understand is that having darker energy allows for these more shadowy aspects of expression of consciousness to attach themselves to you. So if you know your own energy, if you know your own emotions, then you can outsource and understand what isn't truly yours. And I'm trying to pull in a few more understandings because I think this is going to help some feel a little bit more comfortable moving forward in these spaces, because you can differentiate your own energy from anything else. That is so important to understand and learn on this journey. So I think there's going to be more to come with regards to that as well. But where you find yourself right now, please feel your feelings. Feel your feelings with regards to tapping into crow, where you find yourself in your understandings with regards to shadow, with magic, how that makes you feel, because that's going to be important moving forward if you continue to stick with these channelings, everyone. So this is phase 1, very much a simple yet so profound practice to be bringing forward for you and your life. Symbolism is so incredibly powerful, and I'm excited to explore it with you all. But I think that's all for today. If you do have questions, please do not hesitate to email myself, The Light Renegades, comment on the description below, because I think it's going to be helpful for us all to come together in this, everyone. And I think there's going to be spaces for us to come together and discuss these things in a little bit more depth. I think that's going to be important too. So that's for, future ventures to come, everyone. But I think where we find ourselves right now, do this homework. If this feels aligned to you, look at some symbols, what they mean, how they might be connected to you, and start using them, start using them in the highest light, in the highest vibration, and just explore. This might be, putting them on little bits of paper and just keeping them out so that you have them to look at all times, and making sure that you are connecting to the highest light at all times. This has to be something that you take gracious in heart, but also knowing that you wield ultimate light and darkness at the same time. So you have to make sure that you're always leaning into your lighter aspects, and any shadow that is stepping forward, understand it, get to know it, get to learn it. Your shadow is your friend. We're going to have to bring shadow into the light and be moving forward together within that space. So don't get stuck in just the light. Don't get stuck in just the darkness. We have to have both, and we have to be able to move through both of those energies at any space and any time, everyone. So please go gently, go lightly. If this is making sense to you, great, you are exactly where you need to be right now. If this is not something you want to be aligning with, great, you also know exactly where you are on your journey. And please find the path that best suits you. Wherever you find yourself in your journey, that is where you are supposed to be right now. And at a drop of a hat, at a flip of a coin, anything can be incredibly different. So trust in the magic of that, everyone. But I think that's all from me today from a crow, and I'll be back real soon. But that's it for now. Take care.